90 and was still able to get 90.
Oh, you're in as me.
I just like seeing you.
Well, no, I can't do anything for you, so I'll leave. You have all the controls.
Leave? I love you.
All right, I'll stay.
Oh, you can leave if you got more important things to do. I get it.
I don't know. I'm getting really adept at tuning you out.
What?
I love you.
I've got you though. I do need to use this for like Zoom meetings. Like I set one today on here.
As long as it doesn't conflict with anything else that's scheduled, classes, you're welcome to. But you've got to check the class schedule.
Because we can't run 2 Zooms at once?
Correct. That's why you have your own account. That's why I have my own account too.
My account cuts off at 40 minutes though.
Oh, then I'll give you mine. I have a paid account.
Okay. I thought we could run multiple Zooms at the same time.
No, that's the $1,000 a month plan. Yeah.
So we have something at 10:30 tomorrow.
What time is your thing? I'll send you my account information.
10:30, but I already sent them the other invite. Actually, we don't have anything on the calendar.
I was gonna say, I don't think we do have anything tomorrow.
There's provisional broker meeting.
Oh, yes. It's not giving me the whole schedule. That's why I can't see it. Who's on it? Like how big is it?
It's a recruit interview.
Just update the calendar invite. They'll never know.
Okay. So I have to schedule it through yours then instead?
Yeah.
Okay. Can you shoot me an email with password, name, all that fun stuff?
Well,
we don't have anybody.
I'll even change the screen name so it doesn't look like you're me.
I do know how to do that. Click participants, go to rename, click yourself, go to rename.
Very good.
I'm learning.
I'm not seeing anybody coming on.
I don't know which one I am. Let's see.
Are you on Facebook too?
I am, I just haven't started it yet.
Okay.
I changed the right one.
Ooh, somebody got a nice payday.
We are recording.
That's okay. People need to know our agents get nice paydays.
I know how analytical you are. I did not want you going into details about
I
some of this
wasn't.
information.
I wasn't. So I'm checking the wires.
Yeah, I was debating about going live on Facebook with this or not because we're talking about Gary Keller's mastermind.
But you're not Gary Keller, so it's okay. It's 1 degree of separation. What do you think? Is it enough of a teaser?
I don't know. If nobody jumps on here, I'm just going to skip it for today then. And
I mean, you're talking about your take on what he said. You're not just parroting what he said.
Yep.
People will jump on your Facebook.
Live on Facebook.
So that'd be a no.
All right, guys, welcome to another week. Today I want to do something a little bit different. I know we've been talking about the book Profit First and going through the chapters and lessons on Profit First. Yet I did have the privilege, and I apologize that we did not have this on Friday. I had the privilege and honor to be one of the top 200 most profitable market centers in the world for Keller Williams. As a result, I was invited to a sit-down mastermind all day with Gary Keller. And so I took a lot of notes. I want to share some of that stuff with you guys today. As somebody who has never been wrong when predicting the real estate market, just thought that he would have some really good insight and what we need to expect as we have 1 week left and we're coming out of this COVID coronavirus era, so to speak. And so if those of you guys that are agents want this email to you, go ahead and send an email to pjkennedy@kw.com. I'm happy to share it with you. I'm going to highlight a couple of things that really resonated with me, so to speak. And so listening to Gary Keller talk, he was talking about, disruptiveness is going to be what changes in our environment right now. And so as we look at what's coming next or what we need to be disruptive in our market. Can you shut the door? One of the other cool things is he's going to start doing monthly masterminds with that top 200. This is usually something, for those of you that don't know, occurs quarterly. So once a month, we'll get to have a sit down with Gary Keller, essentially. And all that information I want to bring back to you guys so you get it right from the horse's mouth, so to speak. So Gary Keller said being disruptive. He gave us a situation, and he's going back to late 70s, early 80s in the business. And he was helping these people find a house. And this is way before multiple listing service or anything like that. He shared this story about how this woman, she went into labor. And so her and her husband had to cancel the showings for the day because they were going to the hospital to have a baby. And so that was kind of the plan, was to go ahead and purchase the house before the baby came and all that. And so Gary Keller, as he jokingly said, took the most up-to-date technology at the time, which was an instant Polaroid camera. He went around to the 3 properties that they were looking at. He took pictures of the outside of the house, went and took pictures of the inside of the house, and then brought all the details and everything, brought it to the hospital, and she went, "This is the one I want." Now, you guys are probably saying, well, PJ, that's dumb. We have MLS now. We have all of these things now that we don't need to do that. And you're right. We don't need to do that because of the time and the technology that we live in. Yet, think about that for a second. How many of you as real estate agents would have gone out, bought a Polaroid camera, and gone and taken pictures of the property? And I'm not asking you to question yourself. I'm just saying this is what takes good to great. And this is when you're talking about that agent. A lot of people say, to add more value, I'm going to go ahead and reduce my commission. No, wrong. That's not the answer. The answer is, what value are you providing? What little extras are you doing for your clientele, right? A lot of us do client appreciation parties. A lot of us do gifts at the closing table. And that's just kind of become the norm. Yet what happens when, you're doing the actual runaround for your clients? You're going and getting pictures, or you're going and getting information. A lot of times, guys, I think as real estate agents, we think that we have to have the answer right now. And a lot of times we don't. You want to start talking to me about what's going on with your loan? I'm sorry, guys, that's not me. I can't tell you what's going on with the loan. I'm not the loan officer. Yet I can go and find the answers for you. I can go and help you get those answers. So I see a lot of people jumping on here. So thank you. Hello, guys. So Gary was talking and he said, the only way to predict the future is to shape it. And so difficult times call for difficult decisions. Radical changes in circumstance require radical changes in your priorities. All right. So business is not business as usual. And after coming out of something like this, and I think we referenced this last week, the last time there was a pandemic of this magnitude was over 110 years ago. Okay. Now, there was not the technology or the level of just life that we have now that was 110 years ago. So how do we go ahead and how do we adapt to that? How do we go ahead and change and find out what we need to do? Because if we don't get on board right now in this shifting market as to what's changing, sorry guys, forget about it. That's it. Like, our industry is changing. There's a lot of industries out there that are changing. A lot of people and how they do business is going to start changing. And we will get back to some sense of normalcy, yet there's going to be things that are put in place now that are never going to go away. I see a lot of you guys on Facebook Live, and that's because that's a technology that we've known for the last 20 or so years that Facebook's been around. Yeah, I have way more people on Facebook Live than I have on Zoom right now. Okay, and I'm running on both platforms because Zoom is going to become that new thing. Zoom is going to become that new thing that comes in, that takes over, or already has taken over how we do business. I just said in an interview with an agent that's transferring up from Florida. I've got that interview tomorrow morning via Zoom at 10:30. That's just the business, and that's just what we have changed to and gone to in our world. Now, let's dive into a little bit more on his notes here, or my notes that I took from this. Okay. So this is one thing that I love. And he said, recession is another word for exposure. And I'm not talking about real estate. I'm talking about business. I'm talking about your personal lives. Okay. This is going to expose, number one, your mindset. Okay. How do you deal in a high pressure situation? Are you a fight or flight type of person, right? And there's no right or wrong, whatever you are, yet it's just, where is your mindset? Where's your head at? One thing that I think we could look back at things like 9/11, right? And look back at the Gulf War, things from the generation that I grew up with, and seeing when there was, some curveballs thrown at us and how we reacted. And the second thing after the mindset that we have to have and maintain is people. I think culture shines through all of these things. And as people, we end up coming together. I remember watching on the news after 9/11 when workers were going in to clean up the Twin Towers, and perfect strangers on the side of the road throwing sandwiches in the windows of the cabs of their truck just to say thank you. I remember after the fact, as a country coming together, and how we all were, we had those shirts, these colors don't run, right? And how we needed to support one another. Yet if you guys do, or you guys are old enough and remember that, there was a sense of like, I don't care about the petty problems I have with you today, right? Max Gill in World War II. Yeah, exactly, Max, right? I don't care about the issues I have with Max, because you know what? There is something so much bigger on our plate. So mindset, then people. The third thing is actions, and action and how we take action, right? So not to brag or boast yet, my son, his mother is in the food service industry. I was in the food service industry for 16 and a half years. The first thing we did when they closed down all the bars and restaurants is we went out to the places that were doing to go. We went to our 10 favorite spots, and my son just walked in and handed a $10 bill to the person who was working on duty. Because again, it's taking action. It's how we come together as people, and what effectiveness are we having. And I took $100. We went to 10 different restaurants. We gave 10 different people $10. Okay, by all means, I'm not revolutionizing, changing, saving anything, yet it's that little act. And if everybody did that little act, the effect is crazy. I did get reached out. People reached out to me from the restaurant business. We were able to do a couple of things to help out some other people in food service industry. George Weiss with Summit Funding, give him a shout out. He called me right away. He said, I love the idea. I love what you're doing. How can I help? And that's where taking action really becomes effective. And so, again, whatever business you're in, or just in your daily routine, I've been talking on this, I guess we'll call it a podcast or Pivot with PJ, whatever you guys want to call it. I've been talking a lot about how we're not just going to survive, we're going to thrive. And I got a little bit of a reality check from Gary Keller, which is okay. that he said, if you want to thrive, you've got to survive first. And so I've got some steps if you guys want to write these down, or anybody want to type it up in the notes there, on how to survive first. And so the first thing, there's 4 things here. The first thing was be safe and do the work. How many people are in vacation mode right now, right? How many people are, oh, I'm working from home, so I got my polo on and I've got, my mesh shorts on underneath. I don't yet. How many people are not just doing the work? So be safe, do the work. Take the proper precautions that you need to. Number 2, margin to the market. And again, this is not just real estate talk here. When we margin to the market, our budget has to match our income. So if you just got furloughed, if you just got a really dear friend of mine got a 20% reduction in his salary until this was all over. 20%, that's a lot. So you've got to go ahead and you got to look at your income and make sure your budget matches that. Right? You guys know I always make the joke about, going to Ruth Chris for dinner, and it's either that or ramen noodles and PBR. Well, you're in the ramen noodles and PBR mode right now, okay? And so depending upon what has changed in your world. Now, if you're one of the lucky few that hasn't had too much of an impact or a change, then do the things that are going to go ahead and help the people that have been impacted. Like I said, $100 just going around to 10 different restaurants. We weren't even ordering to-go food from there. It was just something that we were doing as an act to be effective. Number 3, this one's a little bit longer. Stay connected, okay? In any business that you guys are working in right now, it's service first, sales second, okay? If you're the over pushy sales, boom, 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 no, it's never going to work. So service first, sales second. And Gary Gary Keller put up one of my favorite quotes, which is people don't know how much you care. People don't care how much you know until they know how much you care. And that resonates truer right now than any other time. I don't care how much information you have. I don't care how much real estate you sell. I don't care how many deals you've done in the past. If you don't care about me and my family and what we're doing going through COVID right now, I'm going to go find somebody who does care, because the trust tree is really, really important right now. So don't be used car salesman selling on people right now. 80% of the real estate industry is what we call lead receivers. They're not lead generators. So right now, and again, this is real estate numbers, yet this works in any business. Anybody doing some sort of sales in their business, don't be a lead receiver right now. Be a lead generator. Go out there and get the business. And it doesn't start with, hey, you want to buy a house? Hey, you want to buy a car? Hey, you want to buy this? Hey, you want to buy that? No, that's not how it starts. It starts with, hey, how you doing? How's everybody going? How's the family doing right now, right? And make those calls appropriately. The 4th thing he said is that helping your people adjust to the market of the moment. And again, any industry we're talking here, you guys can't motivate other people. And he said you can aid them. And so you can aid in getting them to find their motivation. You can't give them the motivation. And that really triggered something for me. It was an aha moment. You want to light the fire to ignite their own motivation, because this is the thing. We go to work, we do things for a paycheck. We have a boss, we hate our boss, it's annoying, this, that, or the other thing, right? Hopefully, you guys don't hate me that much yet. We do have some things that we have to do in our business, and every single day, even myself, right? Yet when we want to do those things, we show up differently. When we want to really help somebody buy a house or help somebody in whatever business you're in, that's when we really show up the right way and we show up differently. And so if you guys try to motivate people, it's not going to work. But you can aid them in the way to find their own motivation. And that's a friend for life. That's somebody who's going to trust you beyond belief. And that's culture, guys. That's really what helps move and push people forward. As I said, we talked about surviving first and then finding the thrive. And so, and this is going to be a little real estate focused, just so you guys know. Okay. In surviving, Extreme focus and intensity. Number one, you've got to be very focused on what you're doing right now, and you've got to have some intensity behind it. And I would say a lot of intensity. You've got to have that high energy, keep pushing forward, positive attitude. Number two, in surviving, you got to constantly monitor the vital signs. Well, we do this every day in the market center. You know, we constantly are looking at our numbers. My MCA, Cece, her and I sit down every Monday at 5:30. We sit down every Monday and we just analyze our weekly numbers. So we know when we come into the end of the month, there's no boop, surprises, right? Are you guys doing that in your businesses? Are you guys doing that in your own personal world and your own personal budgets that you have? Number three, in surviving, constant communication. You guys, and I'll reference the real estate business here. When we get back due diligence repair requests, right? We're like, oh my God, I don't want to tell my seller about this information. I go ahead and I put the blinders on. And I'm afraid to make that phone call. Now, some of you on here are saying, that's ridiculous. Why would you be afraid to make that phone call? And you're absolutely right. It is ridiculous. Yet a lot of us think that way because we want to deliver good news. We don't want to deliver bad news. Yet it's our job to report the news, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent. If you guys don't believe me, go look at any news anchor out there right now. They're reporting more negative news than they're reporting positive news, okay? So when we have to stay in constant communication, we can't shut down our communication. It's going to be one of the biggest things for a fail rate right now. 95% of the complaints that come into the National Association of Realtors are about realtor communication, just FYI, okay? Number four, under survive, massive flexibility to respond to changing conditions. Go back to what I was talking about with the Polaroid and taking the pictures, right? This is the thing. If you don't figure it out, somebody else is going to figure it out. Mecklenburg County was in a lockdown till last week, right? Yet there was vacant homes that were still having video tours because you guys saw them all over Facebook. People were figuring out ways to get around it. Now, you guys know the bold law. You can have reasons or results. And there's a lot of reasons why people couldn't get out there and do stuff. Yet I bet you if I told you I'd give you 50 grand if you went and did it, people would figure out a way to do it. And that's the mentality that we have to have. In order to survive in these changing times, we need to make sure that we have flexibility to respond to the changing conditions. Last, number five, last one on survive, speed of your action, okay? Do not put off today. Do not put off today what you can, do not put off till tomorrow what you can get done today. There we go. That's the right thing, okay? Do not procrastinate, guys. Procrastinators lose right now. So we figured out how to survive. So now how do we thrive, right? If you guys got questions, please shoot them in down at the bottom or comments. Yeah, so how do we thrive, right? So this is how we just go from the survival mode, and now we're going to go into the thrive mode. And so when we go into thriving, what we want to look at, number one, a positive influence in our offices and our communities, okay? Who are the people that you talk to, right? You guys look at what we call an SOI, or a sphere of influence, right? Show me your friends and I'll show you you. You basically are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most amount of time with. You have traits of all of those people inside of you, or else you wouldn't be friends with them. You wouldn't communicate with them. So are you being the positive influence in those 5 people's lives? Okay. And then how can you be the positive influence in the community? How can you do something like go out? I chose a restaurant business because that's where I came from. And I see Lee Black from the restaurant business jumping on, formerly from the restaurant business. We used to work in a restaurant together. So that's where I focused because that's something that's near and dear to my heart. What job did you have before the role that you're in now? What can you do to give back to your community? What can you do to give back to the people that where you were once in their shoes, so to speak? Because that's what's going to resonate the most with you. Number 2, under thrive, be lead generated based. Okay. Now again, this is more on the salesman side of things. Don't wait for business to come to you. You can't right now. Okay. And we need to be reaching out, doing our care calls to everybody in our community, every one of our past clients, and just seeing how they're doing, right? What can we do for them? How can we help them, right? And I'm going to talk a little bit about real estate here, so just bear with me. Maybe people don't understand that they can do a cash out refi right now, okay? For somebody that's on a temporary furlough, that may be the answer right now. Yes, there's government funding and government assistance that's coming or has come, yet maybe that's what they need to do right now, okay? Number 3, under thrive, we have education and training. that supports that lead generation. Again, it's got to be service first, sales second right now in your businesses. And then number 4, model and margin to unfairly compete for your unfair share. Guys, there's going to be a lot of people put their head in the sand, throw their arms up in the air, whatever you want to call it, and just say, oh, it's because of COVID. Okay? Go back up to what we said earlier, right? About recession is just another word for exposure. These people weren't running solid businesses before they got into this. It's exposing what they don't have. And the first thing under that is mindset. So get your mindset right first. It's mindset. Some of you guys that know me or know I'm an instructor with Carolina Educational Services. I wrote a class called Mindset is Everything because I don't care what you do. And I've taught this class not just to real estate agents. I've taught this class to loan officers. I've taught it to Bank of America. I've taught it to Wells Fargo. Okay? Because whatever type of business you're in, if you don't walk in there with a positive mindset to start your day, and guess what? You're never going to. It's always going to be that dreaded job and that hated boss. So change your mindset. Get through what you need to get through. You need to do it and be happy about it and do it the right way because you'll show up a lot differently. If you guys don't believe me, do this quick exercise for yourself. As long as you're not driving, close your eyes real quick and say, okay, I want you to think about the last time you guys went out and had a really good night. I want to think about like, hey, you know, because it's been a while, right? It's been a while since any of us have been out. But think about that last time, you know, you put that suit jacket on, or for ladies, you put that gown on, right? And you went out and you were like, tonight's going to be the night. You know what? It's going to be a good night, whether it's going out with a significant other, going out with the boys, going out with the girls, whatever it may be. Tonight is going to be a good night. I want you guys to think about that night. And then I want you guys to ask yourselves, did things go wrong that night? Or were there inconveniences that night? And the answer is most likely yes. There were some sort of inconvenience. Yet you remember this night because you had a great time. And so the thing is, did you really have a great time because it was just an amazing night? Or did you go into it with the mindset that I'm going to have a good time and that's why you had a good time? What if we showed up like that every single day? What if we showed up to our office, to our work, wherever our work is, with that mentality every single day? Well, that'd be a lot of amazing days, right? So just be mindful of that and focus on your mindset. Be smarter with your money. I think COVID's taught us anything. It's how to run a tight budget right now, right? Run that budget that matches your income. We already talked about that. Have reserves. Have money set aside, the you know what fund, right? If something goes wrong, I've got that oh crap fund, right? Sell underperforming assets. What don't you need right now? What could you unload, right? What assets do you have in your world? Maybe you've got an extra vehicle and you don't need it right now. And if you need the money that bad, then go ahead and do it. May not be getting top dollar for it yet. It's a method about being smart about your money. Lastly, have an investment strategy and master it. One of the things is we just look at it as, okay, we need to survive, thrive, whatever we need to do to get here. Yet nobody right now is thinking about planning for the future. Nobody right now is thinking about the next investment opportunity that could come up for them. Well, if you guys get out there and you follow what I'm talking about here with surviving and then thriving through business, you'll have the money to go ahead and invest. And let me tell you, if you guys are planning to do an investment in the next 18 months, I promise you the price is probably going to be better than it was in the last 6 months. So as a result, where's your head at? Where's that mindset around, okay, I'm not just going to just get through this. I'm going to figure out a way that I can capitalize on this. And what Gary Keller says is go get your unfair share. There's a couple updates from Keller Mortgage. I'm not going to go into that stuff. And from the Command Training Program. He then did an interview with Keith Cunningham. And if any of you guys are familiar with Robert Kiyosaki, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Keith is the rich dad from that. And Keith said a lot of really, really moving and challenging things. And so one of the things I wanted to focus on that he said was that, and it's funny because he talks about survive and stabilize instead of survive and thrive. And he says, when you're surviving is your cash. When you're stabilizing, that's your cash flow. And again, it goes right back into what Gary Keller was saying around making sure your budget matches your income. If you don't take anything else away, take that away from this today. And so he said, these are the 3 common mistakes that people make around a shifting market. And again, this is from Keith Cunningham. This is a business conversation. This is not a real estate conversation. But these are the 3 common mistakes. Number 1, people are too optimistic of the recovery or the length of the recovery. I'll say that again. People are too optimistic of the recovery or the length of the recovery. It's not going to go back to business as normal. It's going to go back to business new normal, okay? And we're the ones who get to mold that. Number 2, business as usual. We must monitor vital signs in our business, i.e. cash, revenue, expenses, and cash flow. Sounds a lot like what Gary Keller was just saying. And then 3rd, people running business thought they had more time before this shift. This shift, and from a real estate point of view, we've been talking about this shift for the last 2.5 to 3 years, that it's coming. And we knew that this was coming. Yet, I think a lot of us, and I was just on a regional call with North and South Carolina's team leaders and operating principals, owners of market centers. And a lot of them said, yeah, we were doing good. We're making good money. So, we went ahead and we invested in bigger office space. We invested in this. And maybe we should have taken a harder look at our numbers, okay? So how you run your business in the good times will determine if you can survive in the bad times. And guys, I don't like to use negative words, bad times, okay? I like to call these different times, okay? This is different than what we're used to. It's different. It may be good. It may be bad. Yet in the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book that Gary Keller wrote called Shift, I believe it's page 42 or 43, he says there's a gift in a shift. And so go back to talking about making investments, right? A bunch of people go, oh, can't make an investment right now. I'm just trying to make sure I can pay the light bill. Okay. Yeah, what if we just set aside a little bit? Anything that we're going to make an investment in, we're going to make more money in on the flip side of this, okay? So just to be mindful. The last thing it said, and we'll leave it off here for the day, is that our people are our greatest assets, and they are also our anchors in these times. So the bulk of our problems go away faster if we have the right people, or what Gary Keller and Keith call A players, okay? So how do we create A players in our business? And so go in and look at who are the people that are, and it doesn't have to be real estate guys, anybody who's in your business right now that you're like, I can't work without that person, right? I can't live without having that person, right? I know I've got a couple of those people in my world, okay? And I don't know what I would do if I did not have these people around me, because I would just be overwhelmed with too much work because I don't have leverage in my business anymore, that I would be bogged down and I would probably shut down. So who are your A players, and how do we create more A players? I'll tell you, the common mistake a lot of people make in finding an A player is they want to find somebody just like them. I'm good at what I do. I know what I do, and I'm really good. So if I just go find somebody like me, then I'm going to have 2 really good people. And that's not really how it works. Think of it as a marriage. Think of it as a partnership, right? The people that operate, the 2 biggest people that operate in my world right now, being Cece and Jenna, are both extremely opposite from me. They both yell at me on a daily basis too, okay? Yet, if we had the same personalities, all we would do is argue and fight and butt heads, and we would get nowhere. Okay. Now I have a job and a responsibility to do. Cece has her job and responsibility to do. Jenna has her job and responsibility to do. And we are all different people. And in most cases, I'm very different than the 2 of them, which is probably why we work well together. Because a lot of times, yeah, do you want some of that? Sure. I've got another woman in my world, Victoria, and her and I are very, very similar, very alpha, very driven, very, very leader. Okay. And we know what we're going to argue about and not. Katrina, productivity coach, same exact thing. again, high D personality. And for some reason, all 4 of them yell at me a lot. Yet it is what it is. And we get the job done. And we're getting the job done at a really high level amidst everything that's going on right now. So anyways, I just wanted to share some of that. There's some more things in here. If you guys want the full copy of my notes, I think CC put it in the comments earlier, but pjkennedy@kw.com, just kind of see what, you know, the leader of the number one real estate firm in the country, US and Canada, is doing, where his head's at. And again, like I said, he's never been wrong when predicting the real estate market. And that's pretty impressive. Yet I think the biggest thing, and the one thing you guys really need to take away from here today, is if your culture ain't right, your business ain't right. And so that's where it all starts. So guys, thank you so much for being here. We are going to postpone this 2 p.m. For the time being. I'm going to be taking a series of classes at 2 p.m. now moving forward, called Bold Pivot. Those of you guys in real estate know what Bold is. We've got a new Bold Pivot program out. Today is the last day to sign up. If anybody, I don't care if you're with Keller Williams or not. I don't even care if you're in real estate or not. If anybody's interested in signing up for Bold Pivot, give me a buzz, shoot me an email, pjkennedy@kw.com. You know, and I'm happy to help get you signed up in with that class. So guys, thank you so much for being here. Make it a great day. Talk to you soon. Thanks, CC. Talk to you later.
Okay, bye.
Oh, wait. Did I have something? Yes, I do have something for you.
Okay. I need to sign people up. I need who you've got on your list to sign up.
All right, guys.
Sign up?
What is this? Today, we're going to do something a little bit different.